Now, if you look into advertising itself, it has been one of the most wonderful effort. The essentials of an advertisement copy or an ad copy is all about. There are people who look for information. The importance of advertisement itself, the person who has the right information at the right time is the king. Mind gets completely carried over by that advertisement. Good morning and welcome to the revision session of Marketing Management 6th semester BCom. In the last session, we were talking about Unit 3. In this session, we will be talking about Unit 4, which is going to talk on advertising and event management. Now, in this chapter, we are going to see the following factors. The first thing, we are going to see about the meaning, then we are going to talk about definition, the objectives, and the kinds of advertising. Now, if you look into advertising itself, it has been one of the most wonderful effort or a factor that is used in marketing. So the concept of advertising itself is to make the product or service known better to the customers. If you want the customers to know you better, so you need to do advertising. It is a means of reaching the customer at a better manner so that they come to know who you are, what kind of service you provide, what kind of products you offer. Now, the definition for advertising is in many manners. There are different kinds of definitions that have been given both in the text as well as in terms of your Google and other kind of websites altogether. Now, the definition for advertising is more towards understanding the product, the design, the factors that create a communication towards the consumer. What are the objectives of advertising? The objectives of advertising is knowing the customer better. Why? Because to whom are you advertising? You are advertising to know the customer better. You are advertising in order so that the customer understands your products and services. There are different kinds of advertising, which starts with your paper advertising, radio advertising, TV visuals, or going through social media. So there are different kinds of advertising which makes this entire system more interactive and more useful altogether. Now, moving forward, what are the features of advertising? That's what we are going to see in this class. The essentials of an advertisement copy or an ad copy is all about credibility, attention, assurance of benefit, briefness, clarity that is clear, the aptness, and confirming. Let's try to understand each one of them in a clear manner. Credibility. Now, let's say Bajaj company is going to come up with an advertisement saying that they are going to launch a new Pulsar. Now, what is the credibility of the information? Just because they have put the logo, or just because you see a Bajaj Pulsar on your paper or on your screen, is that the credibility? Definitely not. The credibility of an advertisement is the content. From whom it is coming? Who is going to talk about it? Is it an official information? Is it just going to be a fake news? Is it going to be a rumor? So the concept of advertising itself starts with credibility, the trustworthiness that you are creating in the minds of the consumer. So when Bajaj Auto tries to launch a new automobile, might be a bike or a scooter or any kind of automobile, they would first try to make an information through different channels saying that they are in a process of launching a new vehicle. So they first create awareness. Later, they convert the awareness into a credible news or an information by putting proper ads and bringing out with the price tag and with the dealership. So that itself creates a trust in the minds of the people that yes, they are coming up with a new product, it is trustworthy, we can depend on it. So that is the first function of an ad copy. It is trying to create a trust in the mind of the people. The second one, it grabs the attention. Moment you see an advertisement on the paper, it might be about a food product, it might be about a car, it might be about a paint, or it might be about some banking product, whatever is it, the first thing is that the advertisement needs to grab the attention of the consumer, about the person who's looking into it. So it needs to be put with nice colors, pictures, good taglines, so that the consumer is able to look into the advertisement and get attracted. It should not be something which is very plain. It should not be something which does not have any logo or symbol. It should have some meaningful factor, attractive factors, so that it grabs the attention of the consumer. The next thing is assurance of benefits. The ad copy should be created in such a manner that it is able to give some benefits to the people who are going through it. Now, what is so important about the benefit factor? If you are going through the advertisement, there are some benefits that are mentioned, there are some values that are mentioned, so the people who will go through your advertisement will also be a part of that benefit cycle. So at any given point of time, the benefits have to be mentioned, and there needs to be an assurance, there needs to be a trust that has to be created, saying that yes, this is what we are up to and this is what you will get as a part of this program. Just to give you a very small example here, Samsung recently came up with the S20 Ultra 5G model. It's a Note model that have come with the S Pen and factor. If you go through the advertisement, it is so beautifully designed, which gives you an assurance of benefits worth of 19,000 rupees, in which 9,000 rupees is a cashback offer that is being given up once you are making the payment using your HDFC Bank credit card. Now look at the advertisement itself. What is it trying to say? It is trying to say that every customer who is going to do a booking for Samsung S20 Ultra Note 5G model, we are going to give you benefits of 10,000 rupees plus a cashback of 9,000 rupees. So which means you are creating an interest as well as a trust with you in the minds of the consumer who will be interested to try out that new model. That is what an advertisement really needs to do. It has to reach to the minds of the consumer. It has to be pleasing. It has to be attractive enough so that the people who read through the advertisement are definitely getting attracted and will make a purchase of your product or service. Now, moving forward, it needs to be brief. This is the most important factor that we need to understand. An advertisement can be a page, half a page, or quarter page, whatever is it, but it needs to be brief and concise. You cannot run advertisement for pages. You cannot run advertisement for hours together. Advertisements are something that has to be in few seconds that could grab the attention of the people. Now, moment you see an Apple advertisement, an iPhone advertisement coming, that hardly comes for 10 seconds or 15 seconds on your screen. But the 10 or 15 seconds have to be creative, has to be interesting enough so that people are able to see it and they are able to grab the attention there. So what happens in advertising is that it is not about the long and short story. It is about that few seconds where you are able to derive the impression on the minds of the consumer. You can do it with just a single logo. You can do it with one single advertisement. You could probably just do it as a one-liner or just with one background music. It is up to you. But what is need to be very, very importantly noted is that the advertisement needs to be brief. It needs to be concise. It needs to be to the point so that people who look into it are able to take it forward and move forward. Now, it needs to be clear. So the way you write it, the way you use the logo, the way you put the symbol needs to be clear, needs to be appreciative altogether. You cannot have a symbol or you cannot have an advertisement that is cluttered, that is confusing in nature, that has got languages or symbols which are not understandable. So most of the time when you do an advertisement copy, now let's take an example of Johnson & Johnson, which caters to the baby products altogether. If you look into the advertisement, the ad part, it is very clear with the sign of a mother and child and a nice tagline, pure and gentle. So what they try to talk about here is that they are trying to address the concerns of that baby. The product is targeted towards the baby. It is clear. The logo is very simple. The color is very subtle. The background is carefully chosen, and it is clearly given with a small description. That's what exactly an advertisement copy needs to be. It has to be able to be in clear, precise manner, reaching to the minds of the consumer. Now, apt. Is the advertisement that you have designed is apt for the consumer? You might think that you are creative, you are innovative, and you are the best designer in the world in terms of advertising. But is your consumer thinking on the same line? Are the people who are looking at your advertisement feel that is it apt enough? So what the question that starts arising in the minds of the people is that, is the advertisement apt, correct for that occasion, correct for that product or service that you are going to launch? Similarly, confirming, you need to confirm. It needs to be sure. It needs to be a sure-footed effort saying that this is what it confirms. So this is what it sticks to the standards of the advertisement, the ethics and value. You cannot do an advertisement that disturbs the society, that goes away from the standards, that does not follow the ethics or principle. Then that ad will not be launched in the market. So what you need to do is that you need to keep in your mind that you stick to the standards, you stick to the efforts altogether, and then you design the ad altogether. Now, moving forward, the importance of advertising. Now, if you look here, when you look at the design, at the logo itself, it talks about a business factor. There are some values that are written here, some gold values being written, some crude values, some market level, some global crisis. There are people who look for information. The importance of advertisement itself is to create that awareness. It's to create that link, that feel in the minds of the consumer. Every single moment, every single minute, consumers across the world are looking for information. They want to see information. They want to hear about it. They want to know what is happening around them. So advertisement is the single link that can connect a customer to the product. Now, whether it's going to be about the launch of a product, or it is going to be about the launch about a new company or a share, or it is going to be about some negative information or positive information, advertisement can create a deep impact in the minds of the consumer. So it is very, very important when you talk about advertising, you create that punch, you create that impression into the minds of the consumer. Every single line, every single word and letter that is being printed, that is going to be put on the paper, will definitely make an impact to the minds of the consumer. So advertising is the primary key driver that will push your business to greater levels altogether. The more you advertise, more people will remember you, more people will recall your products, will recall your services, and that's how you will stay in the business for longer time. Now, moving forward, the economic affairs of the advertising, the economic advantages that you are going to see about advertising. The first thing, it supports competition by informing the consumer. That's the most important thing. Why? Because the power of advertisement is the information factor. Now, you need to understand, in the world, the person who has the right information at the right time is the king. The reason is that information is everything. It is not just about money, it is not just about position, but it is more about information. The right data can help you to fetch the right customers and get the right market for you. So that's what exactly advertising does. It tries to put the information in the minds of the consumer. The second thing, it drives innovation altogether. That's a very, very important factor. Advertising is one subject or one area which has got no limits. It only tries to innovate and keep on getting better day by day. So yesterday, if you would have felt that there is a kind of advertising by using some colors or some textures, today you will think that how can I make it better? Now, every day when you look into the advertisements on the social media or on any of the websites, you will feel that there is an occasion for me, there is a need for me that I could have done this better. I could have made the appeal look better. So the innovative concept in advertisement is definitely a plus point that drives the minds of the consumer. Every time consumer looks into it and he wants to come up with an innovation that can outperform his competitors. So if a competitor today is coming up with an A model, I want to come up with a B model which is better, which is even more innovative, which is even more appealing and has got the right information. So that's why I would always say advertising has a great effect altogether. Now, it is also increasing the choice of the consumer. After the year 1991, once we started liberating, now in India especially, when we talk about advertising, it is all about choice. Because for a large population, all it becomes is that how much choice you are able to give. So when a consumer today walks into a retail market, he's able to see that he's flooded around with products. There are multiple choice available to him. And where is this choice coming from? Because of advertising. He reads through the paper, he looks into the TV, he listens it in the radio, and when he starts seeing it visually, he is completely surrounded by that n number of products which are coming on a day-to-day basis. So the choice factor is definitely created by advertising. The second thing, differentiated services and products. So when you go to the market today, you might feel that most of the products are same. But once when you start looking into it, once you start applying those products or start studying those products, you will be able to understand that the products are not the same. They are differentiated, they are different by nature. So that's where this becomes even more interesting for all of us to study on advertising. Now, moving forward, the social effects of advertising. What are the social effects and the social factors altogether? A society like India, which is driven by culture, by value, by ethics, is definitely one area where advertising really needs to think 100 times or 1,000 times before releasing an ad. Why? The physical effects, the social commitment, promotion, children and youth, and the psychological effects. So let us start understanding one by one. The physical effects itself. Moment you see an advertisement, that's going to be about a deodorant, or that's going to be about a soap or a toothbrush or a toothpaste or whichever is that, there is some physical effect that drives. Why? Because you are able to see that your body, mind tries to get adapted towards it. So there is some physical effect that happens to your body. You want to get attached to that advertisement that drives you altogether. The psychological effect. Mind gets completely carried over by that advertisement. You immediately start believing that that is the way of life, that is the kind of product which I want to have. Now, for example, when you see an advertisement of an Apple iPhone on the screen, or when you see the advertisement of a Horlicks or Complan or any kind of thing, for example, you see a TVS bike that is being shown on the screen, there is an immediate psychological effect. You are carried away by the product. You want to try it. You want to emotionally get attached to the product. You believe that that is probably the right product which I have not tried. I want to go into it. I want to see it. So that's where the psychological effect comes into picture. Especially when we talk about the children and youth, with the concept of online gaming coming up, digital revolution picking up in every part of this world, especially in India, children and youth are the easy target of advertisement. So any kind of advertisement which carries a negative message or which carries a very sensitive message, the first sector or the first segment which will get affected are the children and youth. By seeing those kind of advertisement, by seeing those visual appeals, automatically it affects their mind. So it is very, very important the kind of ads that we are promoting. We cannot go on to promotion with ads which are negative, which are against the society. The promotion of a product or service in respect to an advertising factor needs to be simple, needs to be precise, and needs to be well within the society norms. Next, moving on, the social commitment factor. When we talk about the social commitment, We as a company, when we do advertising, we are committed to the society. The society believes that every single product promoted by the company is for their good, is for their benefit. There is something meaningful. So if you are going to promote ads, or if you are going to do ads which are anti-society, which are against the belief of certain religion, caste, creed, or some factors like that, automatically that can create a negative effect and the entire advertising can crash down. So that is why you need to have a social commitment. So these are some of the factors that you need to keep in mind in terms of the social effects of advertising. Now, moving forward, just have a look into the ad for a few seconds. If you look into the ad, the way how an advertisement copy is built. Now, probably this is the original burger which you want to taste and eat. But moment you look at it in a nice glorified manner on the screen, on the pages, or on any of the website, you are getting completely carried away, because when you look into the advertisement copy, the quality, the contrast, the color, the background, all those factors matter a lot. It is not going to be a straightforward thing, because this is going to be a visual appeal that is going to be carried in the minds of the people for ages to come. So moment you put an ad, you need to be very careful about the factor how the advertisement really looks. Because for your eyes, you might feel that your product or service is the best in the world. But from the eyes of a consumer, the ad might not be strong. So every single ad needs to be reviewed, needs to be looked up the way it has to come. So the texture, the background, the grains, the color, the writing, the words, every single factor actually make the quality of a good advertisement copy. So every single word, the jingle, the sound, the way it is going to be presented, the colors, everything matters when it comes to a good advertisement copy altogether. Now, moving forward, what are the different elements of advertising? The unethical practices that actually happen here, if you start seeing that there is deception, there is bribery, discrimination, theft, fairness, failure of duty, unhealthy practices, no evidence, whistleblowing, pressure selling, exploitation, spying. There are so many factors that are on the negative side of advertising. The reason is quite simple. People either just steal the information, people just do an ad in order to create a rumor. There might not be proper evidence. Just because I want to sell my product better, because there's a pressure on the income front, I just try to create an ad, I just try to disturb the minds of people. What is very, very important in advertising is that we should not do advertising out of pressure. We should not do advertising out of compulsion. If we are deciding that we want to go on advertisement mode, that has to come out in the natural manner which can make us understand the importance of advertising. If you are just going to copy paste the information and keep moving forward, nobody is going to look at it in a right manner. People might think that the advertisement is actually doing no good job at all. So this is where it is a matter of high importance. We should not follow any of these unethical practices that can disturb the advertising scenario altogether. So in the exam standpoint, when they ask you what are the unethical practices, these are some of the unethical practices that you can write down. When you write it in the exam, please do give some examples. Please do explain those points well so that you are able to score better. Now, moving forward, the advertisement layout. Now, moment you look into this picture, it is an advertisement of a car, about a Ford company car named as Mustang, and they have given the advertisement layout in such a beautiful manner. Look at the background, the texture, the words, and the way how the picture has been projected. So the advertisement layout itself is the design that involves by putting that pictorial image, by putting that words in such a manner that people are getting impressed. Now if you start looking at the Ford Mustang, of course one of the best selling cars in the world, no doubt about it, but the way how Ford has done the advertisement, it is even more appealing. You now start seeing that the car itself is coming out of the page. So what I mean by saying here is that the advertising layout consists of the words, the spacing, the way it is being spelled, the way the comments are being put, the tagline, all those factors. It is basically the page layout. So if you see the page layout here, within that page, how you are going to present the ad, what are all the qualities you need, the clarity in communication, the writing, the spell check, the color, the contrast, the background state, everything needs to be put, then only the advertising layout will come out in the best manner possible. Now moving forward, event management. This is also very, very important line of profession that is coming up in India. Event management is all about getting into managing various events that might be starting from a birthday party to that of weddings to anniversaries, or probably hosting corporate events, educational events, so many factors. Event management is a very, very important function or a theme which tries to handle up the different kinds of events that happen throughout the year. It requires a lot of planning, lot of innovation and thinking. So event management is not that easy where you just go up and set up a stage and you come out. Event management is all about thinking in the right direction, how to present the event, how to make the event even more live and interactive, how to involve the people who are there, how to give them a good presentation altogether. Now, event management normally starts with a theme in the mind and they start building up the stage based on the theme. Now, event management could happen on a daytime or on a night, but then the theme matters a lot. So the audience who are going to come, the kind of presentation, the kind of backdrop, what kind of event it is, whether it needs to be sober, whether it needs to be formal, or it needs to be live, or it needs to be interactive, all those kind of things will be a part of your event management. This would also include the light, the sound, the effects, the way it is being presented. Every single thing comes as a part of your event management. Now, the 5 C's of event management. Concept. What is the concept on which it is based? So that's where I would use the word theme. Now, what is the coordination? How many people are working with you? What kind of coordination? So there might be multiple people involved in that. There might be a person from lighting, there might be a person from backdrop, there might be a person from carpeting, seating arrangement. All those people have to coordinate with you. So this is a very, very important question from the exam standpoint. What are the 5 C's in terms of event management? So the first one is concept, second one is coordination, the third one is control. Do you have a complete control of the event that is happening? In case, if there is going to be some changes, if there are going to be some things which are going to go out, are you in position to control it back? Are you in position to hold it back so that the event does not get disturbed? So the word control is very, very important in event management. Culmination. So how does it go and end up? Because event management is a set of events. It's a set of series that has to go through. So it culminates into a particular event. So that word culmination is very, very important. Next, close out. At what point does it closes out? Where does it go and close? So that factor, close out, is also very, very important. How do you finish the event? So all these factors, concept, coordination, control, culmination, close out, all these factors will matter a lot when it comes to event management. So when you write this question in the exam, please do mention the subheadings clearly, write down the theory with an example so that the presentation is neat. Please do not write one-liners. Take down each and every subheading, give 2 to 3 lines with an example so that it is easy for you to score marks in the exam. Now, moving forward. Conclusion. So the conclusion part of this chapter is that advertisement is the need for the growth of business. It is definitely one of the ways of revenue, and it also helps you to grow the awareness factor. Overall business development will definitely happen because of advertisement. Now, if you see here, when you want your business to grow, you need to advertise. You need to make people understand that you are present in the market. Once you get the awareness, automatically sales will be generated. People will get attracted to you. They will come to you by buying that product or service, which in turn will help you to develop the business to the next level. So these are the factors that will make advertising a very, very important aspect of any business. With this, we will come to the conclusion for today's chapter. Thank you for joining me today.